After watching hundreds of YouTube videos about making money online, I started noticing a pattern. The moment you hear words like automatic, passive, guaranteed, risk-free, easy, or fast, chances are it's none of those things. In fact, the so-called shortcut usually ends up being the most frustrating path, full of trial and error, burnout, and wasted time. So in this video, I'm not gonna sell you some magic formula. I'm just here to share the business model that actually makes me $10,000 a month consistently. And yes, it took work and it still does. I built a small team of freelancers and I still kind of have to manage them. And it took nearly 2 years to make that 10K month consistent. And it works not because it's easy, but because I stopped chasing shortcuts and focused on building something real. And the business I'll be talking about is content monetization. It's how most of your favorite YouTubers make money. Take Iman Gadzhi, Ali Abdaal, Mr. Beast, and etc. So this is going to be a very long lecture. Let me break down its structure. First, we'll talk about views, because no matter how great your content is, if no one sees it, it doesn't matter. We'll go deep into formats, whether you want to stay anonymous and build a faceless channels or put your personality front and center. Both work, but the strategies are different. Then we'll tackle niches and, more importantly, how to pick a profitable one. I'll show you the 4 core niches that always make money no matter the year or algorithm changes. From there, we'll go even deeper into subniches, because here's the secret: the riches are in the subniches. You'll learn why this is where you actually get traction, and I'll show you examples of channels that exploded by narrowing their focus. Next, we'll get into my 5-step formula for gaining views. This part alone is worth rewatching. You'll learn how to research content like a strategist, not a mindless scroller. I'll show you how to spot outlier videos, how to scroll with intention, and how to steal like an artist by taking what works and making it even better. Then we'll move into what you're really here for: monetization. How do you actually turn views into money? We'll cover the 3 main ways creators get paid. I've spent weeks researching real numbers, real case studies. You'll see exactly how much creators are making from brand deals, from courses, from digital products, from communities, and even AdSense. You'll see what kind of deals they're getting, how much they're charging per video, and how they structure their offers. So watch till the end, take notes, and let's get started. So to make money on YouTube, you only need 2 things. First, you need to gain views. And second, you need to turn those views into checks. And I've done both. Here are the screenshots from my Russian channel. Expert content like this consistently pulls 10K plus views. I've also made niche videos that blew up to 1 million, 900K, 600K views. And here's what matters more: this traffic isn't just for show, it brings in actual real clients. And here's the money this channel generates. So when it comes to gaining quality views and turning them into buyers, I know exactly what I'm talking about. I've been a full-time YouTuber/entrepreneur for 3 years now, and here's what actually works and saves you time and money. Before you start your YouTube channel, I want you to ask yourself this question: do I want to show my face or not? Because that choice, it kind of changes everything. Let me break it down. There are actually only 2 formats on YouTube: with face, more like a personal brand, and faceless. Let's talk about the pros and cons of each. When there's a real person on camera, it's just easier to grow because people connect with faces. Face builds trust, creates loyalty, and makes your content feel more human. And when people trust you, it becomes a lot easier to sell. They're not just buying a product, they're buying from you. And when it comes to getting views, even if you're saying things that have already been said, the fact that there's a face behind it kind of gives you an edge. People want connection. They're more likely to watch you explain something they've already heard before than a generic faceless video. That human element can outperform even the most polished faceless content. But of course, there are downsides too. It's really hard to scale when everything revolves around one person. If you're not comfortable being on camera or showing your face, it's just not the right fit. And let's be honest, being the face of your brand 24/7 can be so draining. Just look at the creators like Matt Diavella, Ali Abdaal, who openly talk about burnout. And in my experience too, when the brand is you, it can often feel like there's no off switch. And yes, that can lead to burnout. When it comes to faceless channels like Alux, for example, the big advantage is scalability. You're not tied to one person, so it's much easier to turn it into a system. You can hire script writers, voiceover artists, editors, animators, researchers, and build content machine that runs without you. That makes it way easier to produce content consistently and grow it like a real media company. But faceless channels have their own set of challenges too. They're harder to grow because there's no human element, there's no human connection, so you really have to stand stand out with either a really good script, unique editing, or a killer concept. And when it comes to selling something like a course or a service, it's much harder to sell and to build trust because people are more hesitant to buy from a brand with no face behind it. Channels like Stickman are great examples of faceless success, but it takes time and strategy. So in the end, choose your format wisely based on what you're comfortable with and what your long-term goals are. Now that you've chosen your format, let's talk about your niche. The chances of finding your perfect niche right away, basically zero, because most creators try a bunch of different directions, then something kind of starts to click, and that's when they double down on that specific topic. So here's my advice. First, you're not allowed to pick a niche until you've uploaded at least 10 videos, all in slightly different niches, topics. Think of your first videos as a testing ground. You're collecting data, figuring out what resonates with your audience and what you're actually enjoy creating. My second piece of advice, you should know that there are profitable niches and unprofitable ones. For example, a DIY channel might get tons of views, but a real estate or finance channel with fewer views can make 10x more. Why? Because of how they monetize. So you really need to do your research. Look at what creators in different niches are actually selling. Check the links under their videos. See what kind of courses or products they're offering, how much they charge, and whether they run ads or sponsorships. That will give you a clear picture of their monetization model and help you avoid building an audience you can't monetize later. In general, in our lives, in the world, there's only 3 niches. First, it's wealth, everything related to money, business, career, and investing. Second is health, fitness, longevity, biohacking, think Andrew Huberman, for example. And relationships, dating, communication, psychology, like Diary of a CEO. These niches are evergreen. There's always demand because people never stop wanting more money, better health, or deeper connection. But you should understand that with high demand also comes high competition. And if you can solve real problems in one of these core niches, you will make a lot of money, guaranteed. There are also what's called emerging niches, and they're gold mines. These are topics with high demand and low supply. In other words, people are searching for it. Videos are getting tons of views, but barely anyone is making content on it. And that's your signal. If you spot a niche like this early and start creating content before it gets saturated, you can ride the wave and grow really fast. And the market will really reward you with the first mover's advantage. After you've uploaded your first 10 videos, you'll start to get a feel for what's working, what's getting views, what's fun for you, and what you're naturally good at. That's when it's time to narrow down and start thinking on a sub-niche level. Take a big niche like finance, for example. It's massive, but inside it, there are tons of branches. Finance news and commentary channels, personal finance, investing, trading, behavioral finance, taxes and accounting, credit and loans. See, if you enter a broad niche like finance, you're going up against huge creators, and they have big teams, years of SEO data, massive authority, high budget. Think like Graham Stephan or Andrzej. But if you go into something like tax tips for freelancers in Europe or money mindset for immigrant women, you're in a smaller pond, so you're more likely to rank, get recommended, and build a loyal audience. And YouTube doesn't promote generalist channels unless you're already big. But if your channel consistently creates videos on, let's say, personal finance tips for broke college students, then YouTube learns who your audience is and starts recommending your content to exactly those people. And that's how growth compounds fast. So starting narrow doesn't trap you. Once you build authority in your sub-niche and grow an audience, you can pivot into broader niches, broader topics. And that's what most big creators did. And now that you're in a sub-niche, it's time to do your homework. This is where most beginners mess up. They start creating from intuition instead of insight. And here's my 5-step formula to analyze your sub-niche and make content that actually performs. The first step would be turning on what I call the research mode hack. Create a separate Instagram or YouTube account where you only follow creators and consume content in your niche. No memes, no distractions, just niche-specific content. This does 2 things. It trains the algorithm to show you what's trending in your field, and it helps you stay in research mode without getting pulled into random dopamine traps. Think of it like building a curated inspiration feed. Every time you scroll, you're studying the market. Now the second step, start consuming content from your new page, but not as a consumer, but as an analyst. Pay attention to thumbnails, titles, comments, which hooks are being used in the script, visual storytelling, the editing style. All of this builds your creative eye. Think of your brain like an AI. What you feed it, it learns to replicate. So you need to feed it high-performing content, and soon your ideas, scripts, and videos will start performing like the ones you've been studying. Third, find the outliers. This is the best hack that completely changed my content game. Look for outlier videos, the ones that performed way above average on a channel. And these videos are gold mines because they often signal early trends or shifts in what audience really wants. Ask yourself, what's different about this video? Is this the topic, the angle, the title, the editing? Did it trigger emotion, curiosity, controversy? Outliers give you insight into where the niche is going, not just where it is. And if you can spot that early, you get the first mover advantage. Especially when the channel is small, let's say 10K subs, and the videos are getting like 50K, 100K, more than the number of subscribers they have on the channel, you really need to pay attention and analyze what's going on there. Because if you understand why it's working so well, you can replicate it and benefit from trend writing. There are really good tools like vidIQ. TubeBuddy also has this feature, I think, that can help you find the outlier videos. But in my opinion, 1 of 10, I think, is the best one. It gives like the most accurate data, and let me show you how it looks. So this is how 1 of 10 looks. I'm not sponsored, by the way. And let's say you are in the self-improvement niche and you want to make a video about confidence. So you input confidence in the search bar, and here are the filters. This is the multiplier tool. So let's put it to 2. I'll explain later. And minimum views, let's say 36K, last 6 months. Apply changes. And the tool will only show you the videos that contain the word confidence and that outperformed the other videos on those channels. So let's say this channel, right? It says, give me 79 seconds, I'll make you dangerously confident, probably. On average, this channel gets 85K views, but this video got 183K views, which shows us that this is an outlier video. Or this video, on average, this channel gets 38K views, but this specific video got more than 100K views. So 3 times more than the average video gets on that channel. Or this one, let's say, on average, this channel gets 120K views, but this video got 3 million views, so 25, it outperformed the average number of that channel by 25 times. So these kind of videos are really important to pay attention to, and it's really important to analyze and to understand, because these types of videos, they often indicate the shifts in the audience interests. Now that you've done your research, start creating, but don't invent the wheel, because you aren't good enough yet. You aren't there yet to generate viral content. So the best strategy for you is to steal like an artist. Take what's already working and improve on it. Add your own unique twist. Synthesize different ideas, even from different niches. Take the ideas that are already working and improve the existing content. Maybe you can better the editing, the storytelling. Maybe you can mix up different ideas. An important thing to remember here is that copying only works when your work is better than the original. Otherwise, why would it work, right? If it's the exact copy, it already exists on the market. Now, the 5th step is to test and fail fast. Don't get attached to your ideas. Test hypotheses quickly, because YouTube is so unpredictable. Even top creators can't predict what will go viral, because there's just so many components when it comes to video productions: idea, script, editing, etc. Remember that 80% of results will come from the 20% of effort. So post more videos, test more ideas, improve quickly. Don't make it perfect. If you're not embarrassed by your first MVP, you've launched too late. And same here, if your videos are cringy, that's a really good sign. Success is determined by the number of failures. So let's try to increase the failure rate to learn faster and achieve the goal. And if you keep doing this, analyzing the market, testing new ideas, improving each time, I guarantee guarantee you can get to 100K subscribers within a year. And that's what happened to me. For 4 years, I couldn't grow at all. And then when I started posting content intentionally, started learning, started buying like courses and consuming content intentionally, and started treating it like a science, like a business, my views just skyrocketed. And now that you know how to gain views, let's talk about the most important part of the video: how to actually make money with those views. And this is why I think content monetization is just the best business model. There's just so many ways to monetize, unlike in any other business. Let's start with the most basic one, AdSense. YouTube pays through something called AdSense. That's the money you earn from showing ads on your videos. YouTube pays creators 55% from the money they get from ads. Here's how it works. If an advertiser wants to get in front of the people like you, potential customers, they bid on certain keywords, and YouTube matches their ad with the content that fits. So depending on your topic, your audience, and even where yours live, your videos could be worth a little or a lot. To actually make real money with AdSense, you need one of the two things: high RPM, which stands for revenue per 1,000 views, or a massive view count. Ideally, you want both. RPM depends on how much advertisers actually want to build on a particular channel or a particular topic, or how rich the companies are in your audience's country. Take my Russian channel, for example. It's actually in the making money online niche. Sounds promising, right? But it only earns just $3 RPM. And if I had the same channel targeting the US in English, I'd probably getting like $20 RPM. That's why I'm making this video, which is nearly 7 times more for the same video, for the same content. Let's break that down. Say you're in a low RPM niche like DIY with a $3 RPM. To make $3,000 a month, you need to hit like 1 million views every month. Now let's flip it. You're in a real estate niche with US viewers and RPM is $12, let's say. To make the same $3,000, you only need 250,000 views. Same money, but 4 times fewer views. That's why niche selection and geography really matter. Here's a real example of a finance YouTuber whose audience is primarily in the US. 4 years ago in this video, Graham Stephan shared his YouTube analytics data, and it shows that on average, he was getting about 300K views, which translate into around $7,000, which equals to $24 RPM. So in 2019, his main channel made over $1 million just from AdSense. I understand this example can be a bit unrelatable, so let me show you a more realistic example. This is Estelle, a great example of low effort, high leverage content. This channel proves that you really don't need fancy gear, a production team, or even a microphone to make money on YouTube. She just goes to a forest, batch films like 10 videos at once, mass posts them, doesn't even make thumbnails for the videos, and makes around $1,500 each month, according to Social Blade. From what I've seen on Social Blade, it's usually safer to trust the upper estimate when it comes to ad revenue. Her channel is in self-improvement niche with a UK-based audience, so RPM is probably at least like $4. With the kind of views she's getting, she's probably making more than the upper end of what Social Blade shows. Faceless YouTube channels can also absolutely make money with AdSense, but there are 2 major things to watch out for. First is the copyright issues and AI-generated content. YouTube has recently said it may refuse monetization for low-effort AI compilations or used content without significant transformation. That said, there are still smart ways to do it. For example, there's this Faceless channel that creates history for sleep videos. Calm, narrated historical storytelling, and according to Social Blade, it's making around $3,000 a month just from AdSense, and it's a faceless content. So yes, it's possible to make money with faceless YouTube channels, but you have to make sure that your content is original, valuable, and compliant, especially now that YouTube is cracking down harder. Number 2, sponsorships and brand deals. So now we're getting into interesting territory because YouTube sponsorships for bigger YouTubers can often be a far bigger source of income than YouTube AdSense. Sponsorships is when, let's say, when the creator might say that this video, for example, is sponsored by Skillshare or NordVPN or FTX. And sponsorship deals typically fall into two main models. It's CPM-based deals and conversion-based deals, kind of affiliate deals. CPM-based deals are usually flat payments based on how many people view the sponsored segment. Depending on your niche, audience retention, and brand fit, sponsors may offer anywhere from $10 to $120 per 1,000 views. For example, a tech YouTuber with 200k views per video and a $45 CPM deal can be making $9,000 per one ad integration. Higher value niches like finance, B2B tools may push this up to $80, $100 CPM, while entertainment channels may see $100 to $25 CPMs. Conversion-based, or let's say affiliate deals, are when instead of paying upfront, some companies pay creators per sale or per lead or based on revenue share from clicks on a custom link, usually in bio or description. Let's say a productivity YouTuber promotes a task management tool that pays $30 per sign-up. They get 500 sign-ups, that's $15,000 from the affiliate deal. Some creators, of course, prefer affiliate over CPM deals because they can earn way more long-term, especially if they're good at selling or have an email list to drive traffic after the video drops. There's also something that's called hybrid deals, and this is what top creators go for. They get a flat fee plus a cut of every sale. For example, $3,000 upfront plus 30% of all revenue they get from the video. Big names like Graham Stephan do this all the time. Some even sign yearly contracts or sponsor entire seasons of their content, like a full year of their podcast, all backed by the same brand. And they get that because they're face of the niche. They have the solid reputation and they know how to negotiate. Just look at Ali Abdaal, for example. In 2022, he made almost $600,000 just from brand deals. And at the time, he had around 4 million subscribers. This is what happens when you play the long game, build reputation, and understand your worth. Number 3, digital products, courses, SaaS, community, marathons, webinars, etc. This is where all the real money is, especially if you build a YouTube channel that solves a specific painful problems of your audience. Let's say how to make money, right? Very big pain, always such a big pain. And if you can manage to get views on topics like making money, getting fit, etc., and converting BSLs, you can be making tens of millions of dollars, like Iman Gaji, for example. Different sources say different numbers, but he's making around $10 to $20 million just from his online courses. Ali Abdaal's 50% of the revenue comes from selling a course called YouTuber Academy, and in 2022, he made 1.7 million selling just this course. Hamza, another example, self-improvement YouTuber, has a school community with different courses in it. Subscription is $37, 2,300 members, that's $85,000 every month. That's over $1 million a year. And he gets to take almost all of it home, unlike in any other type of business. In this model, you don't have cost of goods, margins are extremely high, it's so scalable because it's online, you can create it once and sell to thousands of people. And the best way to run a course business is to solve your own problems first, like Hamza did. He became more confident, built an aesthetic body, and then told how he did it on his YouTube channel. And then he sold his course where he shares more on how he achieved these results. And there's also a community of like-minded people. And he really leveraged the community aspect because so many people are lonely these days. Or let's take Maria Wendt, for example, an Instagram coach. She says she makes $1 million every 3 months selling like 20 pre-recorded courses on Instagram. And this is why I love YouTube. The same creator can be making money from so many different income sources. Take again Ali Abdaal, for example. He earns from affiliate links, brand deals, his money marathons, online courses, Amazon associates, and so many more, which means that his income is so diversified. So even if one stream dries up, the others are still running. That's the beauty of building leverage through content. You're not relying on just one paycheck. And with content, you really can sell anything, even physical products, and build a whole empire, whole brand from scratch. Just look at PopFlex. It all started with the founder filming simple clothing try-on videos on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, and now their activewear is being sold in Target stores across the US. So yeah, I hope I was able to convince you that content monetization is just the best business model to start now. And this has been a very long video, my first one in English. It has been very hard to film it, but I've given you the full strategy, frameworks, and step-by-step plans how to grow and monetize with content. Now it's your turn to follow the plan, and if you stick with it and do everything we discussed, you will start growing. Maybe not overnight, but steadily. And that kind of growth leads to stable income. This is a long-term game. So be patient, stay consistent, and trust the process. That's what actually gets results.